If I could go back and talk to my 25-year-old self, I wouldn't waste my time warning him about potential failures. I wouldn't even try to stop him from making the same mistakes I made. But there are 3 things that I absolutely would have to tell him, because they're the truth. And not knowing them cost me so much. Because if I would have been aware of them back then, I think I would have actually enjoyed the life that I was working so hard to build. Now, I want to tell you right up front, these 3 things aren't just about music. They're about being human, about what really matters when things finally go quiet. So the first thing I would tell my 25-year-old self, I think a lot of you are going to really relate to. And if you do, let me know in the comments. And that's this. Your career does not define you. Not in its entirety. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, I used to think that what I did is what I was. Like, I was a producer. I was the lead singer of a rock band. I was a songwriter. I tied my whole self-identity so tightly to my career that there was nothing outside of that even stood a chance of defining me. But here's what I didn't understand when I was younger. Your career can help paint a picture of your life, but it should never be the whole definition of who you are. Because one day, it won't be. It just simply won't be. And then what? Then who are you? When I was in my 20s, and honestly even well into my 30s, I thought that way. I thought that your work is your identity. And the world kind of reinforces that, you know? Like the first thing that people ask you is, what do you do? And if you don't have a good answer, you just kind of crumble. Nobody ever asks you what drives you or what do you care about or who do you love. It's always about what you produce, or maybe more optimistically, it's about what you aspire to. But even still, you start to believe that your value is measured by your achievements. And if you're lucky enough to succeed, it feels incredible for a while. But then, as I've talked about before, it becomes a trap. Because now you don't just have a career, you have an identity. I mean, take me, for example. I know that a lot of you probably think of me as the lead singer of 6 a.m. And yeah, that's something I did. But I don't wake up every day into that. I wake up every day as a guy that's just trying to figure out how to be happy, how to be good to people. And here's the thing. I fell victim to that identity crisis myself when I walked away from everything. I wish I would have known this so much sooner, that your career is something you build, but your character is who you are. And character is how you show up. It's how you treat people. That's what people remember. That's what sticks. So if I could go back, I'd tell my 25-year-old self, yeah, man, pour yourself into your work. Create like crazy. Build something. But never confuse what you do with who you are. Because the truth is, careers evolve and they fade. And one day, whether by choice or by force, yours is going to end. And when it does, you're going to be left asking, who am I? And trust me, you'll want to have a very clear answer to that question. Now, the next thing I would tell that young punk is pay attention to the moment. And what I mean by that is be present. Because I don't remember half of what I should. Not because it wasn't meaningful, but because I wasn't there. I mean, I was there physically, but mentally, I was already on to the next thing. And when you live like that, the present moment becomes nothing more than a stepping stone, something to rush through. I look back at the height of my career, and honestly, a lot of it is a blur. Not because it didn't matter, but because I wasn't paying attention. I was already miles ahead planning my next move, the next album, the next show, the next goalpost, whatever that was. I had everything I ever dreamed about right there in that moment. And I was too busy chasing more to actually feel it. There were so many moments that literally should have stopped me in my tracks. Moments that were just beautiful, like sacred, once in a lifetime. And I blew right past them because I thought the real joy would come later. And here's the truth. It doesn't. Joy never arrives later. It only ever shows up right now. And if you're not present, you're going to miss it. You can be ambitious and still be grateful for what you currently have. You can be forward-thinking and still be present. And I really want to drive this home for my 25-year-old self. You can strive for more without skipping the moment you're in. In fact, the most successful people I know, like real success, are deeply present. They know how to stop and feel, to absorb joy, and to sit in the stillness and say, this is enough for right now. So I would tell my 25-year-old self this. Don't miss your life in the name of building it. The future is not a reward. The moment is the reward. So feel it and live it and let it matter while it's happening, because you don't get that moment back. So the third and final thing that I would tell my 25-year-old self is without a doubt the most important thing. And that's this. Relationships are everything. The most important thing you will ever build in your life is not your career. It's your relationships. When you're young, you treat relationships like they're, background noise. We assume that people we care about will always be there. That we can just take time away now and pick up where we left off later. But time is not that generous. And neither are people, nor should they be. I'm not just talking about networking or who you know. I mean, relationships like that can definitely open doors, for sure. But that's not my point. I'm talking about the ones who see you at your worst and they stay. The ones who tell you the truth when you don't want to hear it. And the ones who remember who you are when you have completely forgotten who you are. Those relationships will outlast every single accomplishment you ever make in your life. Trust me, when your world gets quiet, when the spotlight fades, or the job ends, or the noise just dies down, what's left is who you love and who loves you back. That's it. And if you have neglected those relationships, if you've put them on the back burner for too long, you might find that you're celebrating your wins alone. Or worse, you don't even care about your victories anymore because there's no one there to share them with. I've had to rebuild some relationships that I let slide, and that wasn't easy. And the truth is, I wasn't lucky enough to get all of them back. I've missed birthdays. I've missed major milestones. I've missed the chance to just be there for somebody when they really needed me. And I carry that with me now. It sucks. So now I pay attention to everything. I show up. I try to make people feel seen and heard because I know what it's like to feel unseen. So I would tell my younger self this. The relationships that you form in your life will shape you far more than anything you accomplish. And they will outlive everything that you accomplish too. They're going to outlive your career and everything that you thought was so important. Trust me when I tell you, relationships are everything. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this, and if you did, please hit the like and subscribe buttons and leave me a comment. I want to hear from you. Take care.